Ask about anyone in Atlantic Canada, and they'll tell you they are challenged to keep up with the rising cost of living. And it's not just consumers feeling the pinch. Businesses, organizations, and all levels of government are dealing with rising expenses and increased spending. Here to delve into the subject is political scientist Tom Urbaniak, who is also the director of Cape Breton University's Tompkins Institute and past chair of the National Trust for Canada. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Crystal.
So let's talk about affordability, a hot topic these days. It's a challenge for so many. Let's begin with the rising cost for electricity. I know Nova Scotia Power is currently presenting its case to the UARB to raise rates. If they're successful, what kind of implications will this have?
These next few weeks are going to be critical, I think, for public utilities, and we'll see the extent to which the shocking proposals are actually going to be shocks in the system. Nova Scotia Power has argued that it needs these increases in order to maintain a certain level of service and to keep the infrastructure up. But its rate increases have been a major source of controversy, and rightly so, in this province. Recall that in the last provincial election campaign, the provincial government pledged to somehow cap these rate increases at the rate of inflation. It doesn't look like that's what's going to happen, but we're going to see, I think, some really interesting arguments by Nova Scotia Power and by the consumer advocates about what is really justified. The problem here is that we don't have all the information we really need about the business operations of this company. This is not truly a public utility. This is a private company. There are executives, there are executive pay packages that we only know a little bit about. And so we won't really get the full picture even once a final decision is rendered.
You raised some great points there that I hadn't considered for sure. Well, speaking of utilities, I know Halifax Water, I know you're in Sydney, but Halifax Water is looking to raise rates and improve because of improving infrastructure. And I know that that there are many people who are in the same boat as far as other utilities in Atlantic Canada. So paying for infrastructure, that is very, very costly. There are some thoughts about who should be paying for this. Who do you think should be paying for these costs?
Yeah, and there is another shock, potentially double-digit increases. And again, the justification is presented as making sure that this infrastructure doesn't fall apart. As we speak, there are some pretty dramatic examples, urban examples in Canada, Calgary, where there are all kinds of accusations being traded that the system was neglected for years, and now you have these major water main breaks that are disrupting services in large swaths of the city. So you won't have a direct reference to that when a final decision is made about the rate increases for water customers in Halifax. There will be significant rate increases at the end of the day, based on the principle that the user pays. So you use more water, you pay more, but the overall cost per unit to all residents, to all users, is inevitably going to go up. And I don't see an end in sight for this, unfortunately.
All right, let's talk about the rising cost of food. We've only got about a minute left, Tom, but I know that this is a huge issue. What are the wider impacts of the rising cost of food?
Yeah, so the cost of food is expected to go up more than the rate of inflation in Nova Scotia. By some analyses and calculations, maybe double the rate of inflation. And then certain types of food, meats, for example, will probably see increases greater than that. And then there are these huge variables, like what will the oil prices be in the coming year? They're a little bit lower now, but if those go up, then that will affect the price of food. And this is where the sticker shock really comes in. And this is what all of us see every day or every few days as we try to fill up the shopping carts. And that's often where this debate about affordability centers, is on those basic staples and not on the luxury items. And unfortunately, I don't see a lot of relief, and I don't see a lot of public investment in relief either. Nova Scotia has announced that it will probably be running a deficit of $1.3 billion. So that means only limited increases to things like income supplements or other affordability measures. So it's not going to be an ideal year, 2026, for affordability as far as most Nova Scotians are concerned.
Well, Tom,
sadly.
Yes, I appreciate your conversation. I know you don't have a crystal ball, but everything is playing out to the point that prices are not going to be dropping anytime soon, and we really do appreciate your thoughts. I'd love to have a longer conversation. I know that there's so much going on here. Anyway, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure, Crystal. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.